This is my favorite part.
Safety's off, weapons free.
All that matters is being the last one alive.
This is your champion.
The battle begins. May the gods bless you.
Got a good feeling about this area.
Heard that.
Here we go. Ready up.
From the sky and landing in me.
Attention. First blood.
First blood on the enemy.
I need it.
Round one. Beginning ring countdown.
Great. Already inside the ring.
I've been down.
Where is he?
Frag out. Don't worry, I'm here.
Bruh. Fucking trash. Yo. What's up, Luis? Eldo before. Yo, if you don't already follow my boy Eldo before, please give him a follow. Get him up there. He's a real cool guy. You guys will like him. I play with him all the time. You guys probably see him in my chat. Pretty dope. Oh yeah, Luis already did the quiz yet last night. Did it while I was high. So I got a 22 out of 24.
I know what you're looking for. I'm in.
Na-na-na-na-na.
Amateur hours over. Time for the big leagues.
Oh, forgot to replay Come Listen Starter. Luis, this might be good for
Hello,
you.
everyone. I'm Stephen West. This is Philosophize This. No sponsor this week. Follow me on Twitter at I am Stephen West. Follow the show on Facebook at Philosophize This Show. For Patreon or the Amazon banner, go to the front page of philosophizethis.org. Today is the first episode in a series on Sartre and Camus. I hope you love it. I know what you guys are saying. Nice pronunciation of Sartre. It's Jean-Paul Sartre. Look, I'm not going to spend the next 30 minutes of my life, or the rest of the series for that matter, saying Jean-Paul Sartre every time I reference the guy. If you guys have a problem with it, be mad at Obama, or whoever it was that created this accent.
It's time to drop,
Right?
shock, and
Like, have you
roll.
guys ever seen that video of German people trying to say the word squirrel, but they can't do it? They say squirrel, squirrel, or something like that. Not because they're dumb people, but from what I understand, they have no frame of reference for that squirrel sound in their language. What I'm saying is, don't enjoy the episode.
Those fucking rats. Now their own shit now after mine. Holy fuck.
First blood. Gotta be someone.
Grappling.
I don't know why the video stopped, but I'll fix it. See if I can press play and fix
Watch
it.
for them.
Shield cell here.
Hello, everyone. I'm series of the program. So just like most episodes of the show, and you're looking at the plant and you just start to notice in that moment, for language. What I'm saying is, don't judge me. Enjoy the episode. Let's get on to the program.
The champion made a poor
So
choice.
just like most episodes of the show, I want to start today by thinking about something. But quick disclaimer for any of you out there that might hear the beginning of this line of thinking and think that I'm wasting your time purposefully, or that there's no possible way this could ever be related to the episode. Trust me, by the middle of the episode, you'll understand why I did it this way. So the question I want to ask you is this.
Let's go
Have
this
you
way.
ever been sitting in your room by yourself,
Gotta hop. Thank
talking to yourself, and just said the word cookie to yourself 25 times in a row? Like, cookie, cookie,
Wingman here.
cookie.
Powerful handgun
For that
on
matter,
first
have you
floor.
ever said any word to
position here.
yourself 25
you.
times
Heavy.
in a row?
My ultimate is
Really, the
ready.
question underneath this question is, have you ever said a word and paid close attention to it and analyzed it and had the thought, man, that's a really strange sounding word.
Optics
Why
here.
does the word sound that way?
Light
Why do we even call them
extended heavy
cookies to
R99
begin
here.
with? You look at the word cookie hard enough, and in that moment, it almost starts to feel like it's the first time you've ever heard the
Ultimate
word
accelerant
cookie in your lifetime. You ever had that happen to you? How about when you look at something? You ever been staring at a plant for like 10 minutes straight? You know, maybe your mom has a decorative
Thanks.
fern hanging in her kitchen, and you're staring at it in a fugue state as she's telling you about how they still haven't
cell
fixed
here.
that light down by the Radio Shack yet. And you're looking at the plant and you just start to notice in that moment how incredibly alien this thing looks when you pay close attention to it. You may have walked past this exact plant 400 times before and never thought twice about it, but for some reason right now, it looks really strange to you. You ever had that feeling? Well, if you've ever had this feeling before, even if
Got
it was
an
just for a
extended
minute,
energy mag here.
Jean-Paul
Level
Sartre
3.
would say that you're probably onto something there. But maybe the more important thing he would point out is that this feeling extends way beyond just the word cookie or your mom's decorative fern. Everything is this strange potential. Everything in the whole world could evoke this same feeling in you if you paid close enough attention. This is a really interesting concept that Sartre refers to all the time. He calls it the absurdity of the world. And there's a brilliant example that illustrates what he's talking about that my friend told me one time that he
Looks like
apparently
some people have been
heard from
there.
somebody else.
over there.
But the general idea is,
Heard that.
imagine you get
Enemy
home from
spotted.
work,
Defend this
6
area
o'clock.
sounds good.
Time for you to sit down and eat dinner with your significant other. Now, for most of us, we don't see anything strange about this. We do this every day. It's just a normal Thursday afternoon in my household. But Sartre would say, consider how utterly ridiculous what you're doing actually is. You're essentially waiting for this rock that you live on that's hurtling through the vacuum of space to get to a particular spot in relation to the giant ball of gas burning in the middle of the solar system, so that you can then sit down on a bunch of chopped up trees and put little pieces of plants and animals in your mouth that are going to become infused into your cells. And you're doing all of this purposefully, like synchronized swimmers alongside this other member of your species that you one day hope to procreate with and start a family. But before you do that, you got to figure out what aspects of their inner thoughts they've been lying to you about since the first day they met you. This is the true absurdity of the world, and we live our lives immersed in it every day to Sartre. To fully understand where he's coming from with this, and how it ultimately relates to the rest of his philosophy, we're going to need a little historical context. Remember back at the beginning of the Enlightenment? Remember that famous
fucking kidding
divide that's been around since almost the dawn of philosophy between rationalists and empiricists? Rationalists believing that we arrive at knowledge best through reason, empiricists believing that it ultimately comes through the senses. Right. So, at the beginning of the Enlightenment, if you were a starry-eyed, aspiring philosopher trying to make a name for yourself in the big city, a really cool place to focus your efforts on would have been bridging this divide. Philosophers started to ask the questions, why is knowledge an either-or proposition there? Why can't both of them be true? Why can't neither of them be true? Why can't we all just get along? Leibniz tried to do it, Hume tried to do it, Kant tried to do it. A lot of people.
Time to win and stay alive.
And in the early years of Sartre's life, he traveled many, many miles to study under somebody else who was trying to do it. His name was Edmund Husserl. See, Husserl thought, well, it's funny. All these disagreements that rationalists and empiricists have been having with each other for so many centuries, they always seem to happen after we've applied all sorts of very human meanings to what we're experiencing, human biases to what we're experiencing. What would the world look like if we were somehow able to remove those human
Come find
biases?
me.
Now, real quick, I just want to be clear. Husserl's not just talking about biases like whether you're leaning Republican or Democrat. He's talking about removing every way that you categorize phenomena that enter your senses and brain. We've actually talked about something like this before. Remember our episode on David Hume on causation? You know, pool ball A hits pool ball B and causes it to move.
I say we land
David
here.
Hume would say that we're making a mistake by saying that pool ball A caused the movement of pool ball B. There's no
Hold your breath.
necessary connection
If you have a
between
respiratory
pool ball
system.
A's movement and pool ball B's movement. It's a very flawed human inference that you're making. And although it seems obvious, and probably is true that pool ball A caused the movement of pool ball B, because the events are so close to each other and one ball's movement directly preceded the other ball's movement, we can't apply that same standard to the rest of the universe and just assume that we know what causes what. I mean, I'm sure you can imagine how that might go wrong. I'm sure you can imagine someone saying something like, oh, well, day turned into night and then back into day again. It intuitively makes sense to me as a human being that day caused night to come into existence. We, of course, know that isn't true. But this is a good example of a mistake that we might make when we, in fancy philosophical lingo, infer necessary causation. Now, as you probably remember, David Hume said that there is no necessary connection between these two phenomena. But for the sake of practical life, we confer this framework of cause and effect onto these phenomena. Because, he would say, imagine what the world would be like without cause and effect, or any other meaning we tack on to these phenomena. It would be chaos. It would be a seemingly random flurry of phenomena happening all around you, no rhyme or reason to them at all. It certainly would be a little off-putting, right? Well, Husserl thought, if we want to get to the bottom of this existence thing, maybe the task shouldn't be about interpreting our human experience of these things. Maybe it should be about understanding our human experience at such a deep, comprehensive level that we can sort of subtract it from what we're experiencing and study the raw phenomena as they actually are. This is what is called phenomenology. Now, ultimately, Husserl's making the point that if we're ever going to arrive at certainty about stuff, the current scientific method that we use is probably going to have to go. We're eventually going to need a new scientific method that takes all of that stuff into account. But that's for another episode. What Sartre takes from us is that in our experience of the world, it's not like we're only making sense of it through the lens of cause and effect. No, we're tacking on all sorts of stuff. All sorts of connections between things that have been conditioned into us that help us make sense of it. Go back to the dinner example. When looked at through the lens of phenomenology, it starts to seem like a pretty crazy and completely arbitrary scene. And no question somebody could do a much better job of breaking it down than I did there. But if for some reason you had a giant claw that could pluck some random person out of a Walmart somewhere, and you asked them, what does this particular sequence of phenomena mean to you? To them, to the average person, it would just be dinner. Sartre gives
I'm not paying attention to it much, but
Watch out for the new kill leader, friend.
I like to listen to it.
Half the squad's still alive.
It helps you get out of your dark thoughts philosophy. And I'll show why in a bit, but for now,
Someone out there. They're far.
it's fighting time.
Just spotted someone out there. See someone out there.
Keep backing up. No,
Sounds
focus.
like a vehicle for fun.
One's on my left, one's on my right. Oh fuck, it's in their squad. Keep going, keep going.
Incoming care package. I love loot. Giving my shields a recharge. Here I go. Recharging shields. Got our friend's banner. Taking fire. Giving my shields a recharge. Picked up our friend's banner. We can bring them back.
Oh no! Easy dubs, bro. That was too Pathfinder. The game couldn't handle it. This is what happened. Oh my
Tons
God,
of
bro.
examples of this absurdity of the world in his book called Nausea. There's a scene where the main character is traveling on a tram and he looks over to his side and sees a chair sitting in the corner, and in that moment he is just puzzled. He looks at the chair, and as he's looking at it, he experiences what it feels like for there to be no obvious usage for that object conditioned into his brain over the years. Think about that. There's no decades of sitting in chairs, or seeing people in chairs, or seeing men in thong bikinis hitting each other with chairs at WrestleMania. None of that meaning is there for him. It's like he's a baby seeing a chair for the first time in his life. Here's another example from his book Nausea, where the main character is describing a chestnut
Fate
tree.
isn't life. It just
Quote,
makes life go
if anyone had
faster.
asked me
We
what
will
existence
defeat all
was,
of our enemies.
I would have answered in good faith that it was nothing. Simply an empty form which was added to external things without changing anything in their nature. And then all of a sudden, there it was, clear as day. Existence had suddenly unveiled itself. It had lost the harmless look of an abstract category. It was the very paste of things. This root
Jump
was
this
needed
way.
into existence. Or rather, the root, the park gates, the bench, the sparse grass, all that had vanished. The diversity of things, their individuality, were only an appearance, a veneer. This veneer had melted, leaving soft, monstrous masses, all in disorder, naked,
Hold your
in a
breath.
frightful,
If you have a
obscene
respiratory
nakedness.
system,
I kept myself from making the slightest movement, but I didn't need to move in order to see. Behind the trees, the blue columns and the lampposts of the bandstand and the Veleta,
let's explore
in the
this
midst
way.
of a mountain of laurel. All these objects, how can I explain? They inconvenience me. I would have liked them to exist less strongly, more dryly, in a more abstract way, with more reserve. End quote. Now just imagine. Imagine if this was how the entire world looked to you. Everything in it. The story goes that Sartre was on a heavy dose of mescaline one fine summer's eve and had this very experience. Mescaline, for you more adventurous folk out there, is better known as peyote, hawking about biases like
Ego beyond it.
Arc Star out. Arc Star out.
what? To the fucking...
Look out, grenade.
Recharging shields.
This is your problem. You give up too easily. Get up and fight, my brother.
Yeah. Alright, back to the video.
You know, whether you lean Republican or Democrat. It's talking about removing every way that you categorize phenomena that enter your senses and brain. We've actually talked about something like this before. Remember our episode on David Hume on causation? You know, pool ball A hits pool ball B and causes it to move. David Hume would say that we're making a mistake by saying that pool ball A caused the movement of pool ball B. There's no necessary connection between pool ball A's movement and pool ball B's movement. That's a very flawed human inference that you're making. And although it seems obvious, and probably is true, that pool ball A caused the movement of pool ball B, you know, because the events are so close to each other and the ball's movement directly preceded the other ball's movement, we can't apply that same standard to the rest of the universe and just assume that we know what causes what. I mean, I'm sure you can imagine how that might go wrong. I'm sure you can imagine someone saying something like, oh, well, day turned into night and then back into day again. It intuitively makes sense to me, as a human being, that day caused night to come into existence. We, of course, know that isn't true. But this is a good example of a mistake that we might make when we, in fancy philosophical lingo, infer necessary causation.
For this.
Now, as you probably remember, David Hume said that there is no necessary connection between these two phenomena, but for the sake of practical life, we confer this framework of cause and effect onto these phenomena. Because, he would say, imagine what the world would be like without cause and effect, or any other meaning we tack on to these phenomena. It would be chaos. It would be a seemingly random flurry of phenomena happening all around you. No rhyme or reason to them at all. It certainly would be a little off-putting, right? Well, Husserl thought, if we want to get to the bottom of this existence thing, maybe the task shouldn't be about interpreting our human experience of these things. Maybe it should be about understanding our human experience at such a deep, comprehensive level that we can sort of subtract it from what we're experiencing and study the raw phenomena as they actually are. This is what is called phenomenology. Now, ultimately, Husserl's making the point that if we're ever going to arrive at certainty about stuff, the current scientific method that we use is probably going to have to go. We're eventually going to need a new scientific method that takes all of that stuff into account. But that's for another episode. What Sartre takes from this is that in our experience of the world, it's not like we're only making sense of it through the lens of cause and effect. No, we're tacking on all sorts of stuff. All sorts of connections between things that have been conditioned into us that help us make sense of everything. Go back to the dinner example. When looked at through the lens of phenomenology, it starts to seem like a pretty crazy and completely arbitrary scene. And no question somebody could do a much better job of breaking it down than I did there. But if for some reason you had a giant claw that could pluck some random person out of a Walmart somewhere, and you asked them, what does this particular sequence of phenomena mean to you? To them, the average person, it would just be dinner. Sartre gives tons of examples of this absurdity of the world in his book called Nausea. There's a scene where the main character is traveling on a tram and he looks over to his side and he sees a chair sitting in the corner. In that moment, he is just puzzled. He looks at the chair, and as he's looking at it, he experiences what it feels like for there to be no obvious usage for that object conditioned into his brain over the years. Think about that. There's no decades of sitting in chairs or seeing people in chairs or seeing men in thong bikinis hitting each other with chairs at WrestleMania. None of that meaning is there for him. It's like he's a baby seeing a chair for the first time in his life. Here's another example from his book Nausea where the main character is describing a chestnut tree. Quote, if anyone had asked me what existence was, I would have answered in good faith that it was nothing. simply an empty form which was added to external things without changing anything in their nature. And then all of a sudden, there it was, clear as day. Existence had suddenly unveiled itself. It had lost the harmless look of an abstract category. It was the very paste of things. This root was kneaded into existence. Or rather, the root, the park gates, the bench, the sparse grass, all that had vanished. The diversity of things, their individuality, were only an appearance, a veneer. This veneer had melted, leaving soft, monstrous masses, all in disorder, naked, in a frightful, obscene nakedness. I kept myself from making the slightest movement, but I didn't need to move in order to see. Behind the trees, the blue columns and the lampposts of the bandstand and the Veleda, in the midst of a mountain of laurel. All these objects, how can I explain? They inconvenience me. I would have liked them to exist less strongly, more dryly, in a more abstract way, with more reserve. Now just imagine. Imagine if this was how the entire world was to you. Everything else. The story goes that Sartre was on a heavy dose of mescaline one fine summer's eve and had this very experience. Mescaline, for you more adventurous folk, better known as peyote. And, for the rest of you, stay in school. Look both ways before you cross the street. Now, Sartre would say that if you don't believe in a God that has assigned some sort of preordained meaning to that chair, and everything in the world for that matter, a position progressively growing in popularity these days, if you don't believe in that preordained meaning, then you realize something when you look at the world in that state. You realize that human beings are just sort of making it up as they go along. All of this meaning that you've been applying to these objects like chairs or the word cookie for your entire life, there's no essence preordained into these things by a higher power. No, if you go back far enough, all that meaning, turns out it was just some person that came up with it to try to make this process of understanding these phenomena more simple. This is a key point that maybe needs a little bit more historical context. Remember Plato and Aristotle? They believed that every object had within it an essence. The essence of a thing is a specific thing or a collection of things within an object that need to be there for that thing to be considered whatever it is. If the thing for some reason no longer had these specific properties, it would lose its identity and would therefore become something else. For example, a toothbrush, right? There are certain properties about any toothbrush that are called non-essential properties. All kinds of things. Your toothbrush could be red, yellow, short, long, bamboo, whatever you want. But one thing's for sure, if the toothbrush doesn't have that little brushy thing at the top, it's no longer a toothbrush. It's just kind of a colorful stick at that point. Remove the bristles from the toothbrush, and you remove what is called an essential property, or the essence of that toothbrush, a quality that's necessary to make it what it is. Now, Plato and Aristotle believe that there is an essence to every object, including, you guessed it, human beings, even you. This essence is whatever makes you, you. If it was taken away from you, you'd be someone or something else. Now, this essence is typically considered to be something that was in you before you were even born. And this theory was pretty much conventional wisdom up until the late 1800s, and what Jean-Paul Sartre represents is one of several people during this time period that are starting to say, hey, wait a minute, what if we're born without an essence? And once we're born, it's our job to determine what our essence will be. What if to be truly aware of existence means that you're aware of the chair as it is before you've tacked on all this meaning to it? What if, as the famous line goes, existence precedes essence? See, because the significance of realizing that the way that things are in the world isn't some cosmically determined state of affairs is that once you realize that, you're free. All these people around you saying stuff like, that's just the way that things are, sorry, they could be wrong. In fact, look back at history. They probably are wrong. Sartre would say that whenever you hear somebody say something like, marriage is a sacred bond under the eyes of God between a man and a woman, and that's that, you can realize that that conclusion was arrived at just as arbitrarily as yours was. It may not even be true. And this goes with everything. The way relationships work, the way you make your money, the diet you consume. You are free. Freedom. This is probably the biggest point of emphasis in all of Sartre's philosophy. You'd probably even say it about his later political work, too. Understand how free you actually are, and never take that for granted. He has a famous quote, man is condemned to be free. And what he means by that is you didn't bring yourself into existence. You didn't have a choice. Yet, here you are,
I'm coming for
born
you,
into a world with so much freedom to choose, while simultaneously held responsible for everything that you choose to do in this existence that you didn't choose to have. You are condemned to
By
be
the
free.
time you see me coming, I'll be
Now,
gone.
the question
and
people
you'll be
typically
gone.
ask here is, okay, so I'm free to determine the meaning of concepts and ideas that I interact with in the world,
This is the best
but
part.
if I don't believe in God, then I don't believe in something that has prescribed a preordained meaning to my life. Doesn't that make life sort of meaningless? What's the purpose of my life, or anything that I do for that matter? Doesn't that just
Check it
send
over
me
there.
spiraling down a deep, dark hole of feeling like nothing I do ever matters? Well, Sartre would say, just like when you look at the world of phenomena and you apply meaning to all the things to be able to make sense of it, meanings that are not cosmically determined but ones that are useful to you, not only can you apply meaning to your own life, it is your obligation to choose what the meaning of your life is going to be. He'd say, those people that believe that a God has prescribed a meaning to their life, they've really just chosen that meaning just as arbitrarily as you chose yours. Again, existence precedes essence to Sartre. Once we exist, it's our job to discover our essence. Now, if you don't already know, these concepts that we've been talking about here are all hallmarks of a line of thinking known as existentialism. When Plato says that essence precedes existence, that is known as essentialism. When Sartre says that existence precedes essence, that's known as existentialism. Now, I've already talked about an existentialist on this podcast before. The name's Kierkegaard. If you remember, Kierkegaard famously says that anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. He says that when you realize how free you truly are in this world, when you look down into the yawning abyss, you become
I've got
dizzy.
just the thing for you.
Quick recap just to give some context. So,
Shield battery
freedom
here.
is a really interesting thing for human beings. I mean, on one hand, we all say that we want it more than anything else out there. We don't want somebody telling us how to live our lives. Don't tell me what to do. I don't want to live under the rule of some king.
Remember who
But on the
you
other
are.
hand, we say,
I've
wow,
got your
I'm
back,
free.
leader.
I'm free. I can do anything I want.
Keep eyes on the new
It's a pretty scary thing when you think about it. Kierkegaard would say that most people find
Optics
themselves
here.
either lost
Close
in the
range.
infinite or lost in the finite.
Deeps.
Lost in the infinite looks like this. I'm free. I can do anything I want. Where am I going to go with my life? Oh, you know what? Better just set up camp here and just think about what I'm going to do for a while. Don't want to make any
Standard
rash
stock here.
decisions.
Level 2.
I'll talk to some people, figure out what I'm going to do, come up with all sorts of ideas, and never really take action on any one.
Hi, new
We're
friend.
lost in the finite. How does that look? Oh, you guys set up a camp? Oh, your camp's over there? Okay, I'm gonna set up my camp right next to you guys, okay? Oh, is that how you hold your spoon? Okay, I'll start doing that too. Oh, is that pumpkin spice cream cheese? Both of these, to Kierkegaard, are attempts to avoid the dizziness of being truly free. A state of dread, as Kierkegaard calls it. Well, Sartre talks about something very similar to this. He says that once you realize that you're in the driver's seat, once you realize that it's you that has to decide the meaning of your life, and that you're not limited to this tiny, manageable story about the way that things are that most people tell themselves, when you feel that nausea that comes along after realizing how many options you truly have, it's a very uncomfortable place to be. And by the way, there's no Pepto-Bismol for the nausea of existence. So getting rid of that feeling of nausea by any means necessary starts to look real friendly to you. And a common trap that people fall into, a state that most people spend their entire lives in, even if they don't realize how free they are, is what Sartre calls bad faith. Bad faith is when we accept something as true that really isn't all that convincing to us, not because we think it's the truest thing in the world, but because it's convenient and easy for us to believe in it. People do this with all sorts of things, like tanning, right? People that go tanning. At some level, they know that sitting in an oven for 30 minutes is not good for them. At some level, they realize that they're probably going to grow up and look like a lizard. But hey, in this one clinical trial, 6 out of 7 rats didn't die of cancer. That's another thing, right? It's so easy in this day and age, much easier than any other generation, to decide what it is you want to believe in, and then do a reconnaissance Google search after the fact for a study that you can point to as a reason why you're doing it. It's gotten pretty crazy. I mean, try going to Google and typing in, anything. Reasons kale is bad for you. And then after that, type in reasons kale is good for you. Guarantee you're going to get a ton of results on either side of that. The point is, It's so easy to have this bad faith that Sartre talks about, where you don't believe in what the most compelling position is, but one that's convenient for you to believe. We tell ourselves a story that we want to hear, so that we don't have to do the hard work of having difficult conversations with ourselves. Sartre thought one of the most common types of bad faith, one that he saw firsthand all around him during his lifetime, is when people tell themselves they have zero options about what they can do. Sartre talks about a hypothetical waiter who hates his job. He goes to the same restaurant, day after day, hating his job, not feeling fulfilled. But whenever he thinks about applying for a different job or asking himself the difficult questions that come along with that sort of life choice, he just tells himself the same thing. Look, I'm a waiter. Always been a waiter. Always gonna be a waiter. My father was a waiter, just like his father before him. I'm never gonna be able to try to do anything else because this is my job and I need the money to survive. I might as well just accept it. I'm trapped on this unfulfilling hamster wheel for the rest of my life. Now, Sartre would say this is absolute nonsense. Your essence isn't determined by what your father or your grandfather did. It's not determined by a few overdue rent notices in your mailbox. You are a free individual that can choose the meaning of your life. You can do anything you want. The money and the rich family heritage of being a waiter aren't preventing you from doing anything. You are preventing yourself. People do this for any number of reasons, probably most commonly to avoid some difficult conversation. But consider what it is someone's actually doing when they find themselves in one of these bad faith scenarios that Sartre talks about. When the waiter wants to change his job, and he tells himself that he has zero options and that he's essentially destined to angrily get people baskets of chips for the rest of his life at the Mexican restaurant he works at, what is he doing there? Well, he's cutting the legs out from underneath his ability to choose. He's putting up this barrier to try to convince himself that he actually doesn't have a choice in the matter, and that being unhappy at this job is a life sentence. Just imagine what sort of world he's living in. Imagine if he was living under a tyrannical dictator that told him, you're going to wait tables for the rest of your life, or I'm going to chop your head off. That is basically the world that this waiter lives in. And Sartre would say that it's entirely self-imposed. Sartre talks about how people do this a lot with relationships, too. You know, someone will stay with someone for a couple of years, they'll ignore all the telltale signs of the two of them being fundamentally incompatible, and when they wake up one morning and they realize how unhappy they are in the relationship, oh, well, I can never leave them. We've been together for 10 years now. Oh, so just waste another 10 years of your life? No, I could never leave them. I just can't reinvent myself at the age of 30. Yes, you can, and many people do. Sartre would say something people do all the time is they avoid making these kinds of difficult life decisions, desperately trying to avoid that temporary short-term discomfort of contending with the freedom that they have at their disposal. So they tell themselves one of these stories of bad faith, and what they end up doing is putting themselves through long-term agony in an attempt to avoid short-term discomfort. Think of the message that think of what you're telling yourself when you accept this bad faith. What you're saying is that the person you are right now in this very moment is the only person you can ever be for the rest of your life. Now, if that sounds needlessly reductionist to you, Sartre would say, you're right. You shouldn't be ashamed of using this bad faith. You shouldn't get down on yourself if you're 50 years old and realize that bad faith has controlled you for most of your life and you feel like it was all your fault all along and you've wasted your entire life. No. Just be
Replicator
free.
incoming, friends.
Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next time.
Okay, now I can get back to talking.
Face this, Marvin. We should play catch. Optics here. Shot helmet. EVA 8 here. Here I go. Enemy spotted. Hostile spotted. Enemy spotted.
Let's go here.
there.
have over here?
Let's go this way. 1 minute before the ring closes. We have time. My ultimate is ready. Hostile right here.
Taking fire.
One moment.
Sending out my decoy.
Shattered an enemy shield.
Recharging shield.
I'm down.
Enemy shield cracked. Shot fired. And they're hitting me.
Using grapple.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We wiped the squad. Let's hear the squad grenade here. I love it.
Cover me. I'm using a Phoenix kit.
Lucky us.
Just gotta patch myself up.
Evo shield here. Level 3. Shield battery here.
Attention. Delivering care package.
Ooh, care package on the way. I like the sound of that.
Open supply bin over there. Might be something good this way.
Round 3. Beginning ring countdown.
Not all of us are in the ring. Here I go. My ultimate is ready. Woo!
I got that replicator coming in.
Care package over here. Backpack here. Med kit here.
Just what I needed. Forget it.
There's one right here.
Target spotted. My shields are recharged.
Sketch.
Shooting at me.
I am
Where
down.
the fuck did this guy go? One of these guys are cheating for sure. Let's see who it is. 92? No, that was just now. 63? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh well. Top 3. 2 kills. It's alright. It's not bad. Let's see. Turn on the lights now.
The important thing is not to die. Ha ha ha!
I cannot wait to win this match, friend.
I'm not afraid. I'll never
Oh,
be.
chat's this time my stream isn't so far behind. That's good.
This is your.
N is jumper. Jump from us. Maybe Shifu. Sounds cute as fuck. Master Shifu?
This might be a good place to land.
All right, hope you're ready.
Oh, I fucking hate landing here, bro. This is such a shit spot. I don't understand why people like it. I really hate this spot.
Found a boat check here.
First blood. Hey,
No, Vito. You don't put your
eyes on your map.
ball there.
Target spotted. Hostile close.
Attention. The champion has been eliminated.
Champion made a poor choice.
Enemy over there.
I picked this shit up, bro. This is legit. Bro, just dome me and pick me up, bro.
Down one. Hey, no worry, bro.
Jesus fucking Christ, that's good.
I'm down, brother. New kill leader. Heads up.
Let me die, bro. Still fucking good. Jesus Christ. What I did was fucked up. What our partner did by not finishing that Pathfinder was fucked up. What that guy did was fucked up. Don't do any of those things. I choked. I was like, ah, fuck it. I can just chill. I didn't even take him serious. Oh, fuck. It's just annoying. I go fuck up this shit. What's up, Vito? You cutie. Hello. 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 Announcement. Okay.
I accept the challenge.
I need air in this house, this room.
True mastery can't be programmed.
Oh, we're not able to communicating too, so that's definitely an issue. What the freak?
This is your champion.
I'm quick, and I'll finish this.
Quick one reminder.
I'm the jump master. No pressure, me. I say we land here. Hold your breath if you have to breathe. Soaring. Let's go this way. One.
Wait, perhaps.
Extended light mag here. Level 3. R301 here.
Evo shield here. Level 3.
Attention. First blood.
Thank you.
The first legend falls.
Contact with hostile. Hostile right here.
Bro, he shot me through the fucking wall. He shot me through the fucking wall again, bro. Bruh. Is this just angle? Is this... What the fuck is this bullshit?
Sniper stock here.
491, 160.
Enemy there.
They're far. I see
Where
one.
are you that you're bringing this type of fucking... What? No, GC Mango. That's the motherfucker that I need to watch. Yeah, this guy's just suddenly fucking stupid. That's some bullshit. That's pretty cool. Nah, this dude's sketch. He's fucking... He straight up knows where they fucking are. It's fucking wall hacking, bro. You could have planted a wall right there. Little fucking wall hacking bitch. I'm trying to look for this fucking discussion thing that I'm supposed to look for, but I cannot find it. I'm gonna take a piss real quick. I'm trying to look for this assignment that I need to finish. It's just a discussion board, but I don't know where the discussions are.
Okay, it's right here. Unit 1 discussions. Alright, I'm gonna go pee.
A few spines, eh?
Vito dropped.
Grapple, locked and loaded.
Introducing your champion.
I always pay my respects to your families. Think that makes me soft? You're in for a rough match.
Prepare for battle. Let's go this way.
I saw some leading by at my house. Walking my way. I don't know. She wasn't at my house, but she was unusually close to my property. Oh, fuck. Oh, wow. You got their ass whooped right away.
Round 1. Beginning the countdown.
That rings far. I guess that means I have to move far.
Oh my god. Vito, get the fuck off!
Just die, please!
This is a new kill leader.
You want me to count down to your death? Alright. 5, 4.
Shut the fuck up!
My bad.
Little fucking bitch. Dude was fucking ass and then fucking... Oh man. I don't understand these people, man, why they play ranked.
Here's what they've been doing. So they end up with rushers over here. They end up one-on-one with the pass rushing linebacker coming up against the back. A decent block, but nowhere to go. And so Jones ends up with the sack anyway. That is there's been one thing offensively that has really been working. There it is again now. Green and Joe Burrow's left.
Chase trying to come back and get it. He might have had the first down with forward progress instead. Fourth down and it comes to you.
The Bengals are doing a good job sliding that backside guard across the pickup.
Hone your mind to a razor's edge.
I should let those guys die. It's the same.
Ready for the adventure, mate?
No.
I cannot wait to win this match, friend.
Introducing your champion.
You will achieve greatness. Just not in victory.
Don't get your budgie smugglers in a twist. It's just your old mate Hughes.
This might be a good place to land.
Crushing tinnies and taking loss.
Show no mercy.
The fuck did they drop back there?
Why does this map suck like big cops? There's a fucking Pathfinder here. Whatever will I do? What do I do?
Weird.
Bro, there's a robot on me, robot boy. Oh no, there's Pathfinder on me.
Oh my god.
This man found purple armor. What a fucking lucky bitch.
Yo, I fucking am a lucky bitch. Thank you.
I got purple fucking stock, bro. Like, you claps.
Yeah.
On God, on me.
On God, bro?
I got a wing.
On God.
Watch out for the new kill leader,
I
friend.
don't know who I'm talking to, bro. I'm the next upcoming
Extended light
fucking
mag
really the
here.
best Apex
Level
player
3.
as is. No, give me that shit. Valencia, you're a fucking bitch. This is why you and Hoeg smell like Cheeto dust.
Damn. He said you smell like Cheeto dust.
No, like Bill Cheetos.
Bill Cheetos. Oh, fuck.
Extended light magazine here.
Oh, you're a bitch, bro. I hate you, bro. You're a bitch.
Extended light magazine here.
Extended light mag here.
I eat shit, eat shit, eat shit, eat shit. Yo!
Light magazine here.
I found one.
You found level 3, bro?
Fuck you, I found.
Hey, cool. You for real though about the fight?
Copy that.
Or you guys just fucking around?
Extended light mag here.
This is real. This is real.
Hands up.
I'm serious. Yeah, I'm not fucking with you. Just go for it, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna be near it. Just go for that shit.
I can't get up there, bro.
Shit.
Rings near. Got 45 seconds to consider any betrayal. Never trust this one behind the wheel.
That's alright. I'm a cosplay your daddies and leave also.
Signs of another squad there. I know Ash loves the chase. We're spread out. Gotta huddle up. Enemy here.
They must frag.
Spotted a wee hooligan.
Bro, fight back! Get the fuck out the truck!
Shields recharging.
Where you can't be the best without fighting, huh?
Taking damage. The ring is coming.
Bro, you got this.
Down.
That did sketch.
Giving my shield.
Exiting the trident. Body nearby. Repairing damage.
Oh, we need this, bro. Here, take this Phoenix.
Phoenix kid here.
Putting a Phoenix kit to use.
Bro, I better see you 1v3 them all, man. You're the next best player, right?
How much you fucking help?
Nah, bro, you got this shit. I believe in you.
First of all, they have advantage.
Nah, you got this. Believe in yourself.
I cracked that hooligan shield.
Knocked one.
Woo! You are the best, bro. Look at that. You're not the best anymore.
I'll push, bro. Like, right
Oh, damn. GG, bro.
1 second, we got this.
GG. That was pretty fun to fuck around with that guy. Oh, man. Go ahead, Vito. What a good kitty. Oh, man. Everyone's sweaty. We're bad. Yeah.
Hey, excuse me, man. I love your car. What do you do for a living? Listen, would you back up? You don't know me like that. You all up in my damn area, okay? Please. I'm just trying to TikTok for ask people out. That's cool. What do you do for a living, okay? I like ask people what they do for a living. You know, I know you. You know what you do for a living, kid. Yeah. Oh, back your ass up, okay? Yo, you trying to figure out what I do? You trying to get the drop on me? You pocket watch. I know what you are. That's just for a video. It's just, well, listen, okay? You need to get out of here, okay, Fofo? You got me stuttering. Listen, okay? I had a bad day. You need to leave my property before I put my foot in your ass. Okay. All right. Sorry. You sorry? Yeah. Back your ass. You sorry? Yo, you want some more of that? No. Don't bring your ass back here. You can call me.
I was created for this. I think.
Hey, excuse me. What do you do for a living?
My dad invented dynamite.
I know all the rights. They all lead to the same
He invented Dino Nuggies, bro. Holy shit.
Let's bloody do this.
I gotta invent some nuggies, bro. Holy
This is your
fuck.
champion.
Let's land here.
Let's land this bird right there.
Copy that.
Here we go.
Ready up.
Right here,
Let's
right
explore
top.
this way. I found arrows here.
Good. We're inside.
First blood.
First blood? Well, someone's been around.
Here I go. Gotta hop up here.
Attention.
Champion made a poor choice.
Okay. Oh, fell.
Friends, back here. Loot weapons. Here I go. I need light ammo. here. Level 2.
Extended light mag here. Level 3.
Thank you.
Evo shield here. Level 3.
Attention. There is a new kill leader.
Extended heavy mag here. Level 3.
Crafting, but keeping focused.
Already inside the ring, fellas. Next round's on me.
I've got an Evo shield here. Barrel stabilizer here.
Got a heat shield here.
I've got an Evo shield here. It's cool. Level 3.
Package being delivered.
Got a secure package coming in.
Shield battery here.
They're shooting at me. Firing.
Ah, bro.
Contact with target.
Bro, I'm about to rage quit, man. I'm fucking ass today. Thank you. That dude's hacking?
Go here.
Who is it, Loba?
Contact with hostile.
Loba's dead. B-dubs. Oh man, I'm just not as good as I used to be.
Down. That can't be good.
Oh wait, no, I'm just not playing with full squad. That's not it. I'm just not being carried as much. Also, my skills are pretty bad though. I'm missing like a lot of my fucking shots, as opposed to where I missed a lot, but also put a lot of damage in.
Ready and excited.
This is your your champion.
You see me, you're finished.
I'm the jump master. I won't let you down, except by falling.
Reckon we ought to land over there, darlings.
Come at the queen. 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 Come at the
Let's
queen.
land here.
You best not miss.
Hold your breath. If you have a respiratory system.
Ass. What does it even say? Oh man. What the fuck?
Round 1. Beginning ring count.
Next ring's a bit of a march, darlings. Shall we get a move on?
Attention.
Oh, first blood. Field here. Can't solve the eternal mysteries of the universe without taking a few.
Thanks.
Evo shield here. Level 2.
I need heavy ammo.
You lot, getting behind. Alternator here.
A champion just fell. They must not be very good.
Drill tearing through. That's that shield.
Grappling.
Charging my shield, Guzzies.
Why? Here comes the drill. There's a stick recharging my shield.
Evo shield here. Level 2.
Healing up. Charging my shields, Guzzies.
Light feet, darling. Drilling through. Being shot at.
No benefiting from this
Recharging my shields,
anymore.
Guzzy. Shields recharging. The ring's not exactly what I'm defining. Shields recharging. Yeah, nah, healing. Drilling right through yous.
Let's just push him a normal angle.
It's just a wee scratch here.
Evo shield here. Level 2. Evo shield here. Level 2.
Rejuvenating.
Using my Phoenix kit.
Healing up.
Incoming care package. Let's go this way. Cancel that. I need shields.
Healing up.
Nice.
Optics here. Mid-range.
Got a bit of every day.
Optics here. Close range.
Get your rears in the Clear the bloody way. I'm jumping out of the Trident. Buckle up, Cuzzy. We're going for a hoot. That's for a bit of a drive.
How the fuck would they drive all the way the fuck over there? The fuck? Is he really that afraid of getting hit?
Thanks for the ride, darling.
I am repairing myself. Thanks.
Oh, you're quite welcome, dear.
Keep eyes on the new kill leader. Care package over there.
Quit pissing around. Another squad's been here. Time to go hunting sharks.
Ready to fly on a zip line. Zip line here.
Aye. Spotted a vampire over there.
Oh. Oh, they could have it.
Two. Beginning ring countdown.
.30 repeater here.
Replicator delivered.
They're dropping a replicator.
Got this Marvin looking tip-top. Helmet here. Level 4. Yes, please. Another wee pick-me-up.
I'm crafting.
Eyes up far now. I'll get over there.
I think I crafted the wrong item.
My ultimate is ready.
Yeah. The ring's close, and we've got a whole minute to dawdle.
right by the ring, got 45.
Only 30 seconds left on the clock. The ring's close.
There's a sick, recharging my shields.
That's 7 RP already from doing that.
Deployed.
In progress.
Keep calm, dearies. We're already inside the next ring.
Hostile spotted.
Kill leader eliminated.
Unleashing my singularity. That's Saffron.
Hostile over there.
Recharging my shield.
Shields recharging.
Reloaded. Oi, grenade. Down.
I cracked that hooligan shield. Reload. Go.
Takutos.
Perhaps the better choice for you might have been. Just a wee scratch.
Ah. That's how it's gonna be.
On your feet. Carried it.
Okay.
Using my Phoenix.
You little bitch and so on.
Healing up. Getting a bit of hot water.
I just did it because you did it to Crazy earlier.
Look at this fucking little lie. This man was born lying.
Contact.
Aye, an enemy.
Bruh.
Another squad spotted.
Fucking Christ. I'm so bad at this game now, bro. This marks the end.
I make my friends proud. I ranked up.
Man. This is fucking tripping. Accidentally invited him to my club. Dude got fucking scared. I probably need to eat. Oh, fuck, man. Let's see, what am I gonna do for now? Fall Guys, fuck it. Alright, I'm gonna go get some food.
Just make him go over the top. That's all you're trying to do. Mission accomplished, and up to the first down.
Brittany? Hi, I'm your Uber.
Oh, this isn't a Toyota Camry?
Oh, yeah, it is. It's a new model.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'm your Uber. I'll take you. I got your address right here.
Okay.
All right. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You've never been in one of these Toyota Camrys?
Yeah, no.
I'm glad you didn't have
It's definitely the nicest ride I've had in a while.
How's your day going?
Very good. How about yours?
Good. This is actually my first Uber I've ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just signed up. Hi, Emily. It's a Toyota Camry. It's pretty hot out today. All right. So I got your address right there. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Listen, I don't want to get a one star and ask the wrong thing, but you're pregnant? No?
Yeah, they're 9 months now.
Oh my God. 9 months? So I got one policy. I've been telling my Uber riders all day today. Okay. You know what that policy is? I get my Uber riders there faster than any possible Uber.
That guy needs to calm the fuck down.
So it's 3rd down and 9 from the 40. Reed Morris sending into defense. Earl looks none the worse for wear after he hobbled off the last series. I think what you'll see out of Joe Burrow here is a short, quick throw that's not going to take a sack. And hope that one of his guys.
Man, all of these fucking players, dude, they took a course on how to fucking strafe, because these motherfuckers are hard to fucking hit. They just do that back and forth, left and right, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I forget there's no sprinting in this game. Oh. Oh my gosh! I don't know where the hell those guys are going. Yo, get the fuck off my ass cheek, bro!
No.
You got it. This poor guy. Only he could comment and tell him what to do. Gotta go up there. And then you jump on top of the thing. GG. Maybe I'll just spend the rest of my night. I'm probably gonna stream again, but I'm probably just gonna mod Fallout. Honestly, I don't feel like playing Apex right now. Kind of lost the ambition and drive for a day. Not doing well. I haven't ate yet too. At least lunch or dinner. Yes, I made it! I made it! Fuck everyone! Oh, you bitch! What a dick, bro. I fucking hate people like that. I think there's a little turd right here. I am so bad right now. I lost. Oh man. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, yeah, I'll just be right back. We'll get food.
Big first down for him. Under 4 minutes and the clock rolling. He's seen all of his timeouts. At the Bengal 49-yard line. Deep drop. Swings it to the outside. Needed a couple this time. Londell tackles Davis. But how big does that missed extra point look right now?
Absolutely, and it was an unforced error. But so far now, we have seen the ability of this offense to make some catch and runs. Here's the miss. Extra point that just rolled off the finger. I'm sure was telling you, they played the touchdown.
Snapper. Caught on the run. Who else? To the 24-yard line he goes. Under 3 to play. 22-yard gain.
Unbelievable. They've got Von Bell working right in the middle of the field, right where that route was being run, and it didn't matter. I mean, this is Matthew Stafford, who is now just going to take over the game and go, Cooper, just get ready.
Trying to slot to the right, looks that way, fires that way, but makes the grab at about the 18-yard line. Logan Wilson with coverage on the play.
If the Bengals are going to stay in that zone, that means we're going to get some one-on-one type action against some defenses, but working against the linebackers. And I think that Stafford will take that all day.
You know what? I'm just gonna watch YouTube. Last 20 minutes.
And the 2-minute warning comes with 1:55. It's Super Bowl 56.
Yeah, I'll just end the stream. Fuck it. I'm tired. Sorry, guys. I'm hungry.